What's up, folks? So it has obviously been a few weeks. Been doing a lot of stuff with the We Will Wait, a lot of video work with that, and so I haven't been able to shoot the video devos in a while, but I'm going to get back at it here. And so we'll be posting one of these probably every couple days for you guys to watch, and hopefully ultimately help build the habit of spending time with God. It's not about spending time with me. It's about spending time with Him. But so I want to throw out an idea, or not an idea, but something that's kind of stuck out to me in the last couple of weeks about God. It just keeps, coming into my head about, our relationship with Him. And that's this concept of justice and grace. I find that God has this incredibly powerful ability to give us just the right measure of justice and grace in our relationship with Him. And I think, unfortunately, a lot of times in the Christian church, a lot of churches or pastors have one standard or the other. It's either God is this disciplinarian, and you got to live right and do right and be right and look right and laugh right and love right and all this stuff, or there's this overboard grace card that actually ends up being this license to sin, where anything's okay because Jesus is going to forgive you. And both extremes are actually, I believe, to be inaccurate. I believe that the right understanding of who God is the perfect mix of both. Who doesn't want justice? Who doesn't understand justice? And who doesn't think that there's a time and a call and a right time for justice to take place? Even people that think that the church is dogmatic also understand that, if push comes to shove with their family member, they want justice if something bad were to ever happen. And it's no different for any of us. But if we as people want to be for justice, we also have to be willing to receive it when it comes to us. And I think about in John 8, when Jesus is interacting with this woman, you see there's this adulterous woman that is thrown before him. The religious leaders find her, throw him on the ground, and he goes to immediately defend her. And he does what he does so well here, and he gives her the perfect amount of grace and justice in this interaction. They want to stone her. He immediately turns them away by saying, if you're perfect, you can go ahead and throw the first stone. And one by one, these religious leaders drop their stones and they walk away. And then he looks at her and he says, who's condemned you? And she says, nobody. He goes, then I don't condemn you either. It's just the exact amount of grace this adulterous woman needed in that moment to experience love. But the great part is that it wasn't a sin card of grace. It was grace with the right amount of justice, because his final statement to her is, now go and sin no more. There's an instructional statement. See, as Christians, we're not to just live freely. There is a certain lifestyle expectation that we're to live by, but yet there's grace for when we make a mistake. And God just seems to know exactly how to give us the justice when we need disciplined and the grace when we need loved. Mix them together, and if we realize it, we'll understand that His justice is grace, because His discipline now protects us from pain later. His justice now guards us from hurt later on. And so today I encourage you to welcome God's grace and justice. Don't be one-sided. Don't be so swung to the dogmatic side of justice or live in the sin card of grace that we try to make it into sometimes. But understand that God is grace, God is justice. He's the perfect mix of both. And because of that perfect mix, we can always have an incredible relationship with Him.